I'm James Hogan.
And I'm Stacy Miller, and this is the August 2025 edition of Western Wednesdays.
Welcome to Western Wednesdays. I'm James Hogan, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Engagement. With me, Stacy Miller, Director of Alumni Engagement.
Yes, it's been a fun summer, James.
Oh my goodness, we have just gotten back to Cullowhee.
Yep.
Again.
Gosh,
we keep saying that, like, oh, we just got back, but we've been traveling a lot. We were doing new student send-offs.
Yeah, this time we were out traveling the roads of North Carolina and down to Atlanta to welcome incoming Catamounts and Catamount families.
Over 500 people at all of these new student send-offs. It was really great. And guys, we've met the freshmen. They are fun.
They are. It's exciting.
Very cool.
Can't wait.
But today, Jake Robinson.
Class of 2010, College of Business grad.
This interview, I just love this interview for many reasons. Jake, really stand-up, awesome guy.
Yeah.
Squeezed us in when he came. He was here for trustee business.
That's right.
It's rather official. So Jake, first of all, thank you for fitting us in here. But Jake on our board of trustees.
Yep.
Men's basketball player.
That's right. CEO of Champion Credit Union. He is an all-around super successful Catamount that brings so much life and energy to our campus. We're so excited to have him.
Western North Carolina native,
Yeah,
married
cool.
to Olivia,
Yep.
class of 2010 also,
Yeah.
double Catamount family.
That's right. And we get to hear, a little bit of the story from Jake of, his and Olivia's Cullowhee love story and how, with their daughter Noah, they've just brought her along for the ride and she's a diehard Catamount, let me tell you.
Can't go wrong with a Catamount, guys.
That's right.
Just saying. It's a great interview, and I'm really excited to get into it too because, to your point, Jake is a booster for the Catamounts, and he brought so much with him from his time here as a basketball player, student athlete, and as a finance major into his life now and his career. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Jake Robinson, welcome to Western Wednesdays. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Love being back on campus.
I know that that you're back on campus pretty regularly. You're one of our board of trustee members, and so that gives you frequent opportunities to be back here.
Certainly.
And you're not too far away.
Yeah.
No, and beyond that, season ticket holder for most of the sports. If anybody's watching and you think, well, that looks like a familiar face. Well, if you've been to a Western basketball game, you have seen Jake and Olivia and their precious daughter Noah sitting on the sidelines down at courtside. So it is a familiar face, and it probably is.
It was just a matter of time before we snagged you and pulled you upstairs to the studio here to record a Western Wednesdays with us. So
glad to be here. Grateful
to have you. So, Jake, let's just jump right into it. I want to hear about your time at WCU and how you got to Cullowhee. What was it that attracted you to WCU?
Yeah, so I've told this story a lot, and it really started when I started to realize that I was going to have a chance to play basketball at the next level. That's when things started to kind of go in motion. And the first face that I ever associated with Western was Anquel McCullum, and Coach Q, as most people know him. And to this day, that man bleeds purple and gold more than anyone. And his enthusiasm and his love for this university made it hard to not want to be a part of it. And even going back to, as a kid, 1996, I had two older brothers, so I was always watching sports growing up. And 1996, he was a part of a team that went to the NCAA tournament. And I remember the excitement in our region in Western North Carolina about what was happening. And so I saw him then, and then I made that connection later on as a student athlete. And that was really what got it started. And then from there, it was just being a part of this university and being on this campus, you can't not love it. And the community and the passion that faculty and staff and leadership have, even prior to the current administration, every administration I've been a part of, it's always been special. And that's always stuck with me, and it's what sold me originally.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny sometimes, right? Like, to hear the people who just have to get away, right? Yeah. Like they're from Western, they just have to get away.
I was going to the exact same place. This is perfect.
But it's so special, right? To hear those stories of the people who are from here and find this place to be everything that it is, and you stay in your own backyard, so to speak, and find yourself in Cullowhee, even though it is literally right down the road.
Yeah, and there was a couple of reasons why that made sense for me. One, I wanted my family to be close enough to where they could see me play. They were such a part of my story and growing up playing sports that I wanted them to have the opportunity to see me play as much as possible. ESPN Plus didn't exist back then.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You couldn't just turn on the TV and see a game at will. So having that access was
Yeah.
important. But Coach Hunter, even going back to Chancellor Bardo and other folks that were part of the university, sold me on the idea of change the narrative. Like very much to your point, settling at Western was a lot of the narrative. Like, oh, you must be going to Western, you're settling. Well, no, that's not what I want to convey. I want people to know that this university is special, and maybe we didn't reach the success athletically that we wanted to, but I think myself and other folks a part of this university are helped changing that now, and that's a critical thing for me to take into consideration.
I want to come back and talk to you about your academic experience, but on that change the narrative note, I'm going to give some sports statistics, which is a scary thing because I'm an English major, but Stacy has kindly provided them. That first season that you were at Western, the 6-7 season, the men's basketball program went 11-20. Tough year.
Thanks for the reminder.
Tough year,
Yeah.
right? But by senior year, Jake Robinson and company went 22-12. That's a big turnaround. That's a very big turnaround. And I just wanted to ask you about that experience and what changed on the team and in the program over your 4 years. And what did you take away? What did you learn from that?
Yeah, Coach Hunter was always big on adversity, overcoming adversity, having a standard. And myself, Brigham Waginger, Brandon Giles, the three of us came in together, and we got to experience that freshman season and the troubles that came with it. And even sophomore and junior year wasn't what we wanted, but we were pretty committed our last year. Let's at least do something. Let's put every effort forward that we can to be successful. And we had a great team around us. We were very balanced, and Coach Hunter just kind of kept grinding in his ways, just kept grinding. And we had a chance to be really successful that last year. We went to Louisville and won. And beat Rick Pitino and company there, which was an exciting day for Cullowhee.
That's a great day for Cullowhee, man.
So we had some opportunities. The season didn't end the way we wanted it to, losing in the tournament prior to making a run at the NCAA tournament. But we grew a lot. We changed the way in which Western was viewed in our conference. I think the folks that came after us continue to build on that, and Coach Kraft is going to get us there in no time, I'm confident. But it's nothing that I did. It was a group and a collective effort to really be committed to doing something special, and I think we were able to do that.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall in the Ramsey Center. You're much different in size, but to see you and Brigham Waginger going at it in practice, I think that would have been really exciting to get to see and be a part of.
We had some fun practices, and going at Brigham was tough because he was a dog on the court.
That's what everybody always has said.
One of the best defenders our conference has probably ever seen. And so, I would have steered clear of him. I would let him guard the guards. I'll stay.
Right.
I'll stay away from him for
right.
the most part.
Look, those were great years for SoCon basketball.
For sure.
I mean, we were just talking before we hit record about Davidson. They won the 07 conference tournament, the 08 conference tournament, went to the Elite Eight. So there was real basketball. There were nationally ranked players in the conference that year. And that I think makes it even more special to see where you started, where you ended up. And I have to ask too, like overcoming adversity, overcoming those challenges is tough too, knowing the context that we play in. What did you, when you looked around the court, when you looked around the campus, where did you find the resolve to keep grinding? What was it that said, no, we can do this. This isn't impossible. There are big dogs out there, but we can go after it.
I think it's just having pride in what you're representing, not just the university, but your family, your community. And so many people poured into me as a young adult and as a kid to have a chance to be successful and to get to experience things that helped me craft the person I was when I came here. And being able to wear Western's jersey and represent the university, like you don't want to let someone down in that situation. And so I think just reminding myself of why I was here and who I was representing was enough motivation to keep the things moving forward.
You mentioned being part of a collective effort in that, in that shift from that freshman season to that senior season, but you were a part of that collective effort, going from, for the most part, flipping that result, and that record. What did you learn through going through that you feel like it has impacted you still today, maybe?
For sure. And my staff at the credit union probably gets tired of me making sports references in a lot of our meetings, but it really crafted who I am. And there's so much to learn as a person about sacrifice, accountability, and leadership and things that are required as a student athlete. And, I've always joked that I didn't really appreciate all that Coach Hunter did for me until after I graduated. And I got into the real world, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't so bad, because Coach Hunter's he's calloused my mind a little bit. I'm used to tough times and used to difficult situations, right. And I say that jokingly, but I'm serious in that his ways of making you think and making you work harder than you believed you could really got me to a point where I thought, I can do this stuff in real life because I've got a foundation of what I need to do personally to be able to achieve success.
You were a finance major in the College of Business. Were there faculty on the academic side? Were there faculty or other mentors in your program who influenced or guided you or helped you make a decision to pursue that path?
Yeah, that one's easy. Dr. Grace Allen was the very first face I saw in the College of Business. Even on my visit here, when I was a prospective student athlete, I knew I wanted to be in business, and so I had an opportunity to meet with some of the faculty in the College of Business, and her enthusiasm, her passion for student learning and for the classroom itself, I'm like, okay, finance sounds really cool. I might just pursue this.
Finance sounds really cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a nerd. I can't help that.
So is James. It's okay. We're good.
We're going to get along great.
We're in great
company.
She
was one of my first finance professors in the College of Business, my first professor in general in the College of Business, and just loved her. And the classroom environment she created and the expectations she set for what was to come just made my decision pretty simple. I've always loved numbers. Math has always been my favorite subject when I was a kid, so it wasn't like she had to sell me hard, but I can still remember meeting her for the first time and getting to experience the 4 years in the College of Business with her there and others. Professor Ken Flint, so many other faculty. I mean, really everyone. I talk to Dr. Gruby all the time about the business ready mantra that they share as part of their strategic goals for students, and it really was true for me. Like, it wasn't just about textbooks and tests. It was real world learning experiences that we got to be able to apply and use the things that we were learning from textbooks in the context of how this applies to the real world, and that was amazing. And my time there was so much fun.
And a little different than Coach Hunter from a stance.
Dr. Allen had a little different way of conveying messages. Yes,
right, yeah. Absolutely. But one thing is for sure, did not have a different standard.
No, not at all.
And that is what so many people still today talk about with Grace Allen, and is the standard that she set. Now, she was going to be a little more gentle in helping you get there, but she wasn't going to do it for you. She wasn't going to babysit you. She wasn't going to baby you. Like, that standard was there. And so I have to believe that, for that, you being in both of those seats at the same time, lots of high standards there, which is exactly, that's your everyday now.
For sure. Yeah. She made it very clear. And even when I wasn't in her class moving forward, I still remember seeing her in hallways and around campus, and she would check in, how's things going? And she would ask a lot of follow-up questions to make sure that standard hadn't changed. And so, and really the entire university had that expectation. And I think it's still true today for our students. And that's important because when you get off this campus and move into whatever profession you choose, it's never easy. And so the things that you learn and the principles that you get here at Western can carry you on for sure.
Now, you have been at Champion Credit Union for a bit now.
Just celebrated 15 years.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Congrats, by the way. How did you get your foot in the door, and what did that look like from, being a student here on campus in Cullowhee to then getting to be a part of that?
Yeah, so born and raised in Canton and Haywood County, I knew Champion Credit Union. I knew, obviously, the paper mill in Canton and the impact it had on our region. But as I was finishing up my junior year and moving into my senior year that summer, I knew I wanted to get some real world experience, and that opportunity kind of presented itself to go and work there and still be back in the community that I love. And so took advantage of that, spent the summer there. And then also my class load was a little less demanding the second semester of my senior year. And so I had some time where I could go back and still work. So it was close enough in a commute that I could drive back. And so I spent some time there up until I graduated, getting to know the team and getting to see that business in kind of a real world context, which was nice. And that's how I got started there. So
As an intern.
as an intern, that's correct.
As the intern.
Yeah.
And now you're running the joint. So I want to actually walk this back just a little bit. And again, this is because I'm an English major. A lot of people hear the words credit union. Not everybody understands what a credit union is. I think a lot of people are familiar with commercial banks, and they know that there's a bank on the corner, if that's State Employees Credit Union or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. Tell us about Champion Credit Union and how that model works as a credit union.
For sure. And so it's the very basis of it is we are a member-owned financial cooperative. So if you have an account with us, you're a member owner, which means you get to vote on our board of directors. Everything we do is aligned with trying to make our members' lives better. Maybe that's through community support. That's through specific programs that are requested or needed in the areas that we serve. And so as you look at it from a products and services standpoint, the lines are pretty blurred these days between banks and credit unions, and banks would argue that that's gotten even more blurred over time. But at the same time, we're trying to provide financial services. We're trying to help people understand how to budget properly, how to live, and take advantages of opportunities that are presented to themselves. And so that's no different than banks. Just the structure and the organizational makeup is a little bit different, and that allows us to try to focus on community initiatives a little bit more. And that's what really sold me on a career there, was making an impact on the community that helped me get to where I'm at. And so
I was going to say, that sounds like a hallmark of yours, a frequent kind of reminder that the community matters.
Sure.
And so to that end, it sounds pretty obvious why you would be attracted to want to get into leadership and management there. And you started their management training, or you went into their management training program. Did you have someone point you in that direction, or was that something like you knew once you got in, I want to do this? Yeah,
so my predecessor was a key part in that. He actually sold me on the idea of coming to work after graduation because I believed I had to move away, to make a difference and to reach my career goals. I thought, I got to go to Charlotte, Atlanta, one of these financial hubs to really find out what I wanted to do. And he sold me on the idea of, if you came back to the community that raised you and made a difference, that's a pretty strong legacy. And turned out to be the right decision.
Yeah.
He gave me every opportunity to learn and lead and really to fail too, because I learned as much from the failures that I may have had early in management as I do from the good times. And so having that kind of opportunity at a young age was critical. And I loved our team. We were smaller then, and so I really knew everyone really well. And I knew if I wanted to reach a point where I was going to lead these individuals, they needed to trust me. And so every role I took, I wanted to make sure that I was committed to that role and excel in that role. And then I would worry about the next step at that point. And I think that's really helped me in moving from that peer position to a leader, in that they know that, okay, he was right here in the trenches with us at one time.
Yeah.
He was the intern.
That's right.
For sure.
And you kind of touched on it, Jake, but for those of us in Western North Carolina, we get to see really firsthand the impact and the interaction that you guys do have on that community. But can you talk a little bit about that as it relates to your team and how they buy into that idea as well?
Yeah. So one of our core values is about passionately impacting our community. And in every interview we have with a prospective employee, we ask them about volunteerism, about giving back. And if that's not something that excites you, this may not be a long-term option, because we're going to require as much as we can, because we have a business to run. Obviously, the day-to-day still has to work, but as much as we can, we push our employees to get out and make a difference. And it's not just with us making monetary contributions, it's getting out and serving. We had 5 employees yesterday serving with Manna Food Bank, trying to help them go through some sorting and some organization. And so those are examples of it may not make a huge difference from a monetary standpoint, but it's helping an organization with manpower that they wouldn't have otherwise. And,
Yes, yeah.
we have a unique benefit in that we give 8 hours of paid time each year for an employee to go and serve however they want to in whatever ways they want, in addition to the stuff that we do as a company. And so it's very much ingrained in who we are, and we think that's a value proposition that's important for our success.
And it's important to those surrounding communities. I mean, Canton has needed that.
Especially right, yeah.
I mean, time and time again, really, several times just in my 15 years, living in Western North Carolina. Sure. And so I think it's, it is such an awesome part of Champion Credit Union and what you guys do. And it's so exciting to be a part, of getting to see that and support from afar.
I was going to say, going back to thinking about grinding through adversity and the lessons you learn on the basketball court, in just the last couple of years, obviously Champion has, the paper mill has gone away. And we've talked about that before with Western Wednesdays, with water and how all of these things impact each other. Yeah. Obviously, Hurricane Helene. You've got a once in 1,000-year storm, hopefully once. What impact have those events had, not just necessarily on your community, but also on your team? And as a leader, how are you addressing that?
Yeah, so we've really, in the last 5 years, we've experienced a lot in Canton. And 93 years ago, our organization got its start right there in that town. And so we've been fortunate to grow and expand out of Haywood County and across Western North Carolina. But Canton's very much home to that organization and to our team. And so we have just emphasized being there for people. It's been less about, especially in those moments after those events, it's been less about providing a financial service and just be a resource and a friend to people that need it, and to just hear what they have to say. And if we can't provide a solution, let's work together to figure out where to point them so that they can find what they need. And so it was really just about compassion and being there for each other. We had family members of employees that were impacted, and folks in the home that were impacted of our employees. So those are all things that you just have to have patience and compassion. And we're fortunate to be in a financial position where we can give back and support. And that's why we do what we do, so that we can be strong and be there for individuals and businesses when they need it the most.
I like to think that that's one of the more important differences, between some of these. Not that there's anything wrong with Bank of America or Wells Fargo, but these big national commercial banks, and then your hometown credit union. The hometown credit union can really be a friend.
We can, and every financial institution serves a role in our world and in our regions. Yeah. There's things that we can't do that we rely on larger institutions to support, but I think we do have the ability at times to be more focused on the individual and the non-financial component of things, and that allows us to develop relationships and build trust.
Do you have many "It's a Wonderful Life" moments? Well, no, that's because we can't give you your money back because we loaned it to him to build a house. Because these people, right? Yeah. It's so it's so personal.
Sure. The unfortunate reality of small towns and small communities and being visible is. Yeah. People love to call me.
Absolutely.
Being visible. They see you, Jake. You can't hide.
I have some interesting conversations in the Ingalls Aisles and, at the local restaurants and things. But I wouldn't trade it. Being able to help people and being involved in what's next for Western North Carolina, it's worth every step of the way.
So you kind of took me there, and you are quite the humble soul, which is I think, and I probably speak for a lot of people here at Western that know you in saying that. But you've climbed the ladder pretty quick. You've got a tenacity and a work ethic that a lot of times is probably very unmatched. But what does it look like going forward at this point? You're president, CEO. 10 years from now, where do you kind of see yourself within the organization, and what's that look like?
I get asked that question quite a bit, and we talk to our staff a lot about let's just be focused on being the premier financial institution for our members in our community. Yeah. And we believe in small steps, if we do those things correctly, everything that we want to do down the road will take care of itself. And so that's what we try to focus on. Every investment that we make, every dollar we spend is directed at how do we make sure that we're better for our members and better for our community. And I have no aspirations to leave Western North Carolina. I love this place. My family loves this place. And as long as I can continue being a part of an organization and having team members around me that have that same mission, there's no limits on what we're going to try to push and do in the future. So we're excited about that opportunity, and we take that role serious. That comes with a lot of pressure, and the more we grow, the more we get asked.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
we're having to learn how to strategically say no sometimes,
Right.
which is new for us. But at the same time, we take the role serious. We know that we play a part in the future of Canton and Western North Carolina, and that excites me. And we want to make this future one that we can all be proud of.
I'm going to expand on that, or ask you to, because that same attitude, you were an alum, but you were here, actually, when I think about the years, you were here as a student when Western started that growth. Mm-hmm. But we are a regional comprehensive university. Our job, our mission is to serve this Western region. Right. And so, oddly enough, your business strategy that you're following at Champion Credit Union is the exact same as Western Carolina, where you sit on the board of trustees.
Yeah.
How does that fit in, right? Like, it's just an ongoing thing for you.
It makes selling that idea a lot easier when you already do it in a professional sense, and then as in my role here as a trustee. But I mean, I think there's a lot of that same sentiment in Western North Carolina businesses, and especially those that are ingrained in the community like that we are, like Western is. That's just kind of the way we're made, and it makes it easy when you're a product of this community. And it's a much easier process selling the university in the same ways that I sell the credit union.
Right. I tell people all the time, okay, you were here when Western had 5,000 students or 6,000 students, and they'll ask me, you have 12,000 students now? I'm like, we do. Yeah. And it is the exact same small community feel that you experienced at an institution of 6,000, right? We're still student-oriented, student-first, and that's what we're about. And it's awesome to be at a place, that I've been able to experience that growth and watch that growth, but still be able to honestly look a prospective student or parents in the eye and say, this is the place to be. That is not lost. Your child will not come here and be a number in a classroom. If they choose to hide in the back row, they can choose to hide in the back row, right? But that's a choice. I mean, you're going to have to work at it, because someone's going to pick you out in that back row here. They're going to notice. Yeah. And I think that's awesome. And I think, it's really interesting to hear you talk about that same philosophy being with the credit union.
And it's increasingly difficult as you grow. So, hats off to the university leadership, to faculty and staff here, because I've experienced it professionally. Like, as you grow, to not lose that sense of community and that sense of not being a number is really, really hard. And we hear it in our meetings with faculty and staff senate, with student leadership, with other folks that report to the board periodically. That community feel is very evident, and that makes me proud. That's something I think that helps Western differentiate themselves from other campuses and universities.
I feel like at this point we need to go apply.wcu.edu. No, I mean, we didn't set out to record a commercial for Western, but like that, these are all really, really true things. And Western is still a place where people matter. We're still in the business of changing lives. And you get to see that, though, from a different seat as a trustee. You're the first sitting trustee that has been brave enough to come sit down with us and endure our questions.
So is this where this interview ends? Is that what you're saying?
So, but you're one of the younger trustees as well on the board. But at the same time, you have a very privileged seat at the table, at the leadership table. And I wanted to ask you about what does that feel like now for you as an alumnus of this institution, as a leader in your community? Now you have the opportunity not just to sit at the table, but to help ensure that the university remains on the path it's on. That's a serious role. And you have a lot of hard decisions, I'm sure, that as a group you have to make. Talk about that experience for you and what does it mean?
Yeah, one of the most rewarding experiences about serving on this board is seeing in May and December when those students walk across the stage and graduate and move on to that next chapter.
So
And,
special.
I was a first-generation college student and college graduate, and so seeing the stoles that those graduates wear that we do here is so impactful. And that's at the heart of every decision we make as trustees is how does this impact student experience, and how do we equip our faculty and staff to provide the best experience possible, to change lives and to give them a chance at something more when they leave here. And so we don't get involved in the day-to-day stuff, but we get to hear reports on a lot of the really cool things that are happening. The Friday morning sessions at the UC where we get to hear about some of the unique stuff that our campus does is one of my favorite parts because it's not what you would expect sometimes with all the things that we do outside of just classroom instruction.
Right.
This place is special, and being able to serve in a leadership role here is exactly what I had hoped to accomplish when I left and become an alum and started my professional career.
Well, it takes a lot of time.
Yes, more than I anticipated.
There are a lot of meetings.
Yes.
There are committees.
Sure.
I don't know if, a lot of people know the name Board of Trustees. They may not know what a trustee does. You serve on a committee. Those committees hear certain parts of the university business. Those committees vote on things, bring them up to the full board. What's your favorite part about that?
I think it's just being able to see the transitions that we have to go through, but not losing sight of what we talked about earlier in that this university is a regional comprehensive campus and institution, and being able to see how every decision that's made impacts that. And we are fortunate to have a tremendous executive council that provides us information that it's timely, it's accurate, and it makes our jobs as trustees much easier. And so being able to see that transition and that the success of our university from our seat makes us feel really good, and it's a great part of being able to serve.
And you're being a part of all of those things going on at Western. There's a lot of hats. There's the Board of Trustee hat. There's former student athlete hat. There's the Catamount Club hat, right? But your family is all in. I mentioned it earlier about, seeing you guys courtside, but it's not just courtside. It's not just basketball that you played. You're at other things too. How is it to be able to bring the girls along with you to be a part of this? And what's it like for them to really buy in and be a part of it too?
Yeah, my wife's a graduate of Western. Obviously, we met here, so there's a special place for both of us just in that experience. But it's all my daughter Noah knows. Like she just knows we load up and go to Western for stuff. Like that's part of who we are and what we do.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And she loves being on campus, and the campus is incredibly accepting of her. And people love to see her and her enthusiasm, and it's amazing. And she gets to see the excitement it brings Olivia and I when we come back. And it's always fun. No matter what the occasion, we jump all in.
You talked about as a trustee getting to learn about parts of the campus that are unique. And one of those things is our university participant program. We call it UP, we call it University Participant Program. And Jake, earlier this year, you were part of something that just still gives me goosebumps to think about. And that was the Unite for UP basketball game. And for folks who didn't get a chance to hear about it or come to it, it was an extraordinary night. The University Participant Program, an on-campus residential program where we take individuals who have pretty extraordinary learning difficulties. We have students with diagnosed learning disabilities, with Down syndrome, and et cetera. And we create a college-level experience to learn important life skills. They get to interact just like other students on campus. They go to meals in the dining hall.
They're mentored by other students on campus, which is probably one of the most special parts of that program is how much they immerse them into the whole campus.
They are absolutely part of the fabric of WCU. It's a program that I know so many folks are proud of. And we had a basketball game, which was absolutely wonderful and heartwarming. And we're in the Ramsey Center, and it was a full production basketball game. We had the Cat House band, the pep band was there, the cheerleaders were there, we had student athletes, and at center court, at center court in a zebra outfit is Jake Robinson.
And Olivia.
And Olivia, too. And with a whistle and everything. And there you are as the referee for this basketball game with our UP students and some of our student athletes. Coach Kraft, Coach Sippis were the two competing coaches. So Jake, tell us a story. How did you get involved with that? And what did that Unite for UP game mean to you?
Yeah, so our daughter Noah is on the autism spectrum. She's nonverbal, and so we are parents of a child with special needs. And so seeing that program firsthand, it didn't take much convincing from Paul to say, hey, can you and Olivia come over and officiate? And I'm like, well, just FYI, Olivia did this when we were in college as a side hustle, so she is qualified. I am, however, very underqualified to be an official.
You've yelled at the officials.
Yes.
That's right.
I've been on the other side,
Right.
and I much
Right.
prefer the other side. But it didn't take much convincing. And I meant this when I said it after the event. I've had some special memories in the Ramsey Center as a student athlete. Hard to top that one. To see our campus community first and foremost come out and support those students in the ways they did. Coach Kraft and Coach Sippis giving of their time and really pouring into the experience. They were being competitive. They wanted to win. And I warned them beforehand. I had zero tolerance for talking to officials. So I was kind of looking forward to giving them a technical, but it didn't.
Did that feel
didn't
really
come
good?
to that, yeah.
You know, like, Coach, you stay over there, stay in the line.
But the support and the visibility that it provided that program and the difference that it's making for these students. That was an incredible night, and I think it's something we're going to build on. And
Yeah, we've got to do it again.
yeah, for sure. And Olivia and I are looking forward to being a part of that in the future.
It was one of the most extraordinary nights. Stacy, you and I were both there.
There were tears shed in the Ramsey Center.
It's the real
100%.
deal when Sam Wallace comes out with his camera and stuff. It's going to be a good production. So
It's going to be a great production.
That's right.
I've got to tell you though, one of the best parts about it though, there were so many people in the Ramsey Center.
Yeah.
And it took a minute to make that first basket.
Yeah.
But when it happened, you would have thought the roof came off of that place. It
Absolutely.
exploded. It was electric.
And they practiced ahead of time. Like they were all in on it. The students and the student athletes that worked as kind of peers with them on the court. It was just so much fun. And there were some good plays going on too. I mean, we had
Yes.
some great shots, great passes.
Unexpectedly
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
like,
was-
Serious
yeah.
competitiveness. I
For
mean,
sure.
someone wouldn't get the ball and
like,
and
come
I'm
on,
like,
I'm
this,
open.
This is priceless.
That was beautiful.
The student athletes having to tame themselves to be
Yep.
a little less competitive, and it was awesome. It was truly electric in there.
Yeah, made for a perfect night.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure it was just as special for Olivia too.
For sure. She loved it. Yeah, we were all in on it and look forward to being a part of it in the future.
Jake, I always like to ask this question at the end, but if you could get into a time machine and find yourself back as a first-year student, just arrived, just came over the Balsam Range and down the hill to Cullowhee, and you see yourself walking across campus, maybe going over to Ramsey Center. If you had the chance to give yourself some life wisdom, what would you say to 2006 first-year basketball player Jake Robinson?
I don't know that I would do a whole lot different, and I mean that from the standpoint of there were so many people in my life that gave me great advice along the way that I didn't have to learn from too many bad situations, and continue to surround yourself with people that care, that have the same goals and aspirations for yourself that you have is critical. And I wouldn't change a thing about coming here, being a part of this university, staying in Western North Carolina. It's everything I'd hoped it would be. And in the future, I think it's going to continue to be great. And I look forward to being a part of everything that comes.
Love it. Jake, we're so proud of you. We're so grateful for your leadership as a trustee, for your dedication and service to Western North Carolina and to this university. So thank you for spending time with us.
Absolutely.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for what you guys do for the university.
Wow, James, what an episode and what an exciting, opportunity to get to hear Jake really share his Western story.
I love it. I loved hearing the story, especially about Unite for the UP program. Such a special program here at WCU.
Yeah, and also for, put on my, former athletics hat and hearing Jake really talk about Coach Larry Hunter, and the impact that Coach Hunter, had on him, and, him talking about the work ethic and the discipline that Coach Hunter taught him is, really he feels like carries him into the work he's doing now.
A lot of people, when they talk about WCU, they talk about the strength of the people. And I saw that reflected too, just in Jake's, just his overall community mindedness, how he takes care of his people out there in Western North Carolina.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's exciting. Thanks again, Jake, for sharing your story and spending some time with us. And I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did.
Always fun. Stacy, we got the kids coming back.
We do. Campus is coming back to life. It's so great. We've got, some student athletes here, Pride of the Mountains marching band.
Where did the summer go?
Oh, it's great.
I mean, like I have to park like far away again.
That's right.
Losing my parking spaces. Like this is like the story of Cullowhee. Like this has been, by the way, the parking situation. I don't care when you went here, unless you came here on a horse. Like there was not a place to park. No, it hasn't changed.
But
We love it, though.
there's so much excitement about the students coming back. But personally speaking, that means we're one day closer and one student closer to Chick-fil-A reopening. So here we go.
Oh, there's that, folks. If you ever wonder about the calendar that's on Stacy's desk, it's a tear off to chicken nuggets.
That's right. That's right. James, what do we got coming up? We've got some busy months ahead.
Yeah, 24 days. This is August 6th. This episode comes out 24 days to our home opener. It's going to be great.
So
Gardner
exciting.
Webb's coming to town, and the Catamounts are going to win. I'm just going to say it right now.
A Labor Day home opener. So bringing back the fireworks. If you've ever been to Cullowhee for Labor Day and enjoyed a home opener here in Cullowhee, fireworks are a lot of fun.
We're going to have so many people back in town for that. I know, we're doing some stuff downtown as well. It's going to be really, really fun. So if you haven't already, book your ticket.
Absolutely.
Get your Airbnb, get your room at the Comfort Inn or the Silva Hotel, or
That's right.
it's make a weekend out of it.
That's right. We've got lots of stuff, and that's going to kick us off, so to speak. And
It's going to go 100 miles an hour after
100
this.
miles an hour after that.
We've got the Bob Waters tournament for all you golf fans out there. Great fundraiser for Catamount Athletics. That's coming up on September 12th. That is all online on the website thing. You can just go there and find it. Or I'm sure Wes Cogdill, our Catamount Club director, will find you and help get you registered.
Right behind that is one of our favorite weekends. It's Family Weekend. So September 19th and 20th, we've got Family Weekend and our legacy pinning ceremony. So
That is always so fun. I think we're going to have a couple little surprises at Legacy Pinning. So for those of you who don't know, Legacy Pinning is the weekend where we recognize students whose parents or family members.
That's right.
We'll take grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle,
That's right.
brother, sister are also Catamounts. So those folks are super special because it shows that the mission of this place as a regional university is really, really being effective. So we have a lot of first-gen students here at Western. Some years it's over 40%. So when we have second-generation students, it gets so fun.
That's right. I highly recommend packing your tissues and preparing for some happy tears.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
exciting.
But we don't want to be like all boohoo downer. Homecoming.
That's right.
Be here in a minute.
That's right. Homecoming, November 7th and 8th. Make sure that you join us Friday. Come in, get in here early, be here for the parade and the parade party downtown Silva. We're going to Catamounts take over Main Street.
The parade will last, as long as it lasts. The parade it does not take long. The parade party, though, we'll
Have a
pack
great
up
time.
probably like at 10 o'clock. And I don't think it's ever ended before midnight.
And
so.
make sure that you register early. That's going to be
That's
key.
right.
Register early. Secure your 2025 Social District Homecoming Cup.
We ran out last year.
It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be really
I can't
fun.
wait for you to see it. We're excited.
But we do want you to go to bed because we want you to get up on Saturday morning to come to the Alumni Awards brunch, which is going to be a wide open affair.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big party. We're going to have great food. We're going to have good drinks, and we're going to recognize our inaugural Catamount 10. In addition to all the great alumni awards that we give out, the Catamount 10 incredible younger alumni, gold graduates of the last decade, recognized here. So come join us for that. It's going to be a great party.
Can't wait. Planning is almost all finished up for homecoming, but we're really excited, to bring a whole weekend full of festivities that you don't want to miss out on.
And I can't not mention that we wrapped up a fiscal year on June 30th. We didn't have the numbers ready for the July edition of Western Wednesday, but a big thank you to over 5,500 people who gave to WCU. They gave over $19.9 million to Western, and it was a phenomenal year for athletics. The Catamount Club had record-setting membership for all of our university and academic priorities. Remember, folks, last academic year, fiscal year, Hurricane Helene, we had hundreds and hundreds of you who gave to student and faculty emergency funds. Almost $350,000 raised by the Catamount family to help folks in need. So very successful year, and definitely want to say a big purple and gold thank you to everyone who supported WCU.
Thanks for watching us. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all the things.
You almost got it.
I almost got it.
All the social media things that I don't know how to do.
That's right.
But you know how to do.
But be sure to follow us along for all of the future Western Wednesdays. Thanks for tuning in.
And share
been a
this
blast.
too. Yes, thanks to Sam Wallace, as always, our intrepid producer, Sam behind the camera, who makes us look so good. And we'll see you in a month.
That's right.
Till then,
Go Cats.